What's up everyone, it's Arcadenaut here, and if you have been anywhere near the fighting game community lately, you know that Virtua Fighter is back in the spotlight. Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O just dropped on Steam on the 28th of January, bringing the rollback netcode and a fresh wave of players to one of the most respected 3D fighters ever. And if it wasn't enough, Sega recently dropped the Virtua Fighter 6 concept trailer showcasing what the developer team is trying to achieve with the upcoming title. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Why should I care about Virtua Fighter when there are so many other fighting games out there? Honestly, you have every right to think like that. I played the old Virtua Fighter 5 and even Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown on PlayStation, but I always had difficulties finding matches and honestly, the motivation to dig deeper into the mechanics. With Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O, I have no more excuses, and that means if you're interested in fighting games or any kind of martial arts, it might be the best time to delve into Virtua Fighter, as it might just be your newest fighting game addiction. Before digging deeper into Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O, let's talk about what this series is and how it shaped the 3D fighting games. If you have never played a Virtua Fighter game before, first and foremost, the movement isn't limited to just left and right. You can sidestep, dodge and maneuver around your opponent in 3 dimensions, adding a layer of strategy that you just don't get in 2D fighters. As Virtua Fighter set the standard for 3D fighters back in the early 90s, inspiring countless other 3D fighting series like Tekken or Dead or Alive, the series' other focus was to bring out martial arts aspect of fighting games, differentiating itself by totally ignoring flashy fireball moves or whatsoever and just intricately focusing on the martial arts, making it more than a traditional fighting game. Virtua Fighter's focus on realism is one of the key aspects here. Every character in the game is based on a real-world fighting style, from Akira's Baji-Quan to Sera's mixed martial arts, Shundi's drunken kung fu to Aoi's Aiki Jujutsu. Virtua Fighter just totally ignores any kind of out-of-reality concept. Each character has a unique moveset that reflects their fighting style, and mastering a character isn't about just memorizing combos. It's about understanding when and how to use each move, what kind of a reach your character has, how fast it is, and so on. While other games like Street Fighter or Guilty Gear thrive on flashy super moves, cinematic finishers, and over-the-top mechanics, Virtua Fighter strips all of that, and it's all about the fundamentals: spacing, timing, and mind games. Just pure martial arts combat. And that's what makes it so unique. It has a fundamental dynamic that forces you to think rather than react. You can't just mash buttons and hope for the best, as you need to understand your character's reach, speed, and timing. Be patient with your blocks and open up your opponent's defense. Besides its 3D martial arts fighting game concept, what really sets Virtua Fighter apart is its simplicity of buttons. With just 3 buttons, punch, kick and guard, it may seem like one of the most accessible fighting games out there. Although Virtua Fighter doesn't overwhelm you with different levels of punches and kicks, beneath its simple controls lies a depth that changes based on the character you play. For instance, Akira, although being the cover character of Virtua Fighter, is one of the most challenging characters to play due to his perfect frame executions and close-range abilities. On the other hand, characters like Shundi can offer you a Lei Wulong type of a drunken kung fu gameplay with different stances, or go with hit grabs or submission moves to do when your opponent is on the ground. Now, again, I know what some of you are thinking. This all sounds great, but isn't Virtua Fighter super hard to learn? Well, to be completely honest, some of the characters really are, but some might feel more accessible. They all feel like they have their own unique strengths and weaknesses, but with the Steam release and this new update that is also available on consoles, there is a whole new community of players starting to play and learn Virtua Fighter. Its steep learning curve can be intimidating, but with all of these newcomers, me included, it's quite motivating to do trials and error, trying to know more about the character you choose to play while improving day by day. Calling Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O a fighting simulator-like experience wouldn't be a mistake, with a roster of 19 characters to pick from, each one based on a real-world martial art. Akira with Baji-Kwan, Pai fights with Enseiken, Wolf as a powerhouse wrestler, and Jean with his karate. All of these characters reflect the real-world martial art, giving Virtua Fighter a level of authenticity that you just don't see in other fighting games. Having the flashiest moves or the most ridiculous gimmicks is not the virtue of VF. Instead, finding a character whose dynamic, design or playstyle fits you or seems most fun to play is the way to really enjoy Virtua Fighter. Since, Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O really lacks the single player content and relies heavily on multiplayer experience. The original Virtua Fighter 5 had quest mode, where players get to unlock customization items and progress through a virtual arcade. Somewhat similar to Tekken 7's treasure battle mode, but that's gone in R.E.V.O, and there is nothing to replace it. Virtua Fighter doesn't have any single player mode that showcases the background story or what the character is trying to achieve. There is an arcade mode, yes, literally no reason to play it unless you just wanna try your combos against AI or something. What you are left with is a stripped down experience that focuses almost entirely on online play. Since we are left with online multiplayer experience, and most of it being ranked or lobby matches, all that's left to do is to find a character that attracts you. In my case, I've been trying to main Aoi Umena Koji. Her design, her Aiki Jujutsu style just charmed me. Her gameplay is all about counters, throws, and controlling the flow of the fight. Since I'm still trying to adapt the dynamics of Virtua Fighter, Aoi might not seem to be the perfect entry character, but her moveset helps me to understand the spacing and the timing. That being said, I've always been playing with Pai-chan, which is more leaning on stances, leaving the opponent to guess if I would hit them with a sweep attack or continue my pressure. And as well as Jin Kujo to get used to Virtua Fighter's dynamics and flow. However, besides Aoi, playing as Akira, his perfect frame executions, cancels and pressure, doing these moves, trying to learn more about Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O with Akira feels extremely satisfying for some reason. I don't care if I lose 10 matches in a streak, there is a weird pleasure in trying to learn this character, a weird sense of accomplishment so to say when you beat someone with Akira. But here's the thing, Virtua Fighter isn't just about picking a character and learning their moves, it's about understanding the game's core mechanics, that is, spacing, timing and mind games. It's about learning when to attack and when to block and when to sidestep. It's about adapting to your opponent's playstyle and outsmarting them. And while that might sound intimidating, it also incredibly rewarding. Every match is a learning experience and every victory feels earned. With that being said, Virtua Fighter 5 offers 3 main character archetypes to choose from. Grapplers consisting of Wolf, Taka Arashi, L-Blaze and Go. Strikers are Jackie, Sarah, Jean and Brad, as well as more gimmicky characters like Eileen, Shundi, Pai-chan and Kagemaru. While Wolf and Taka Arashi are your classic powerhouse wrestlers, Go is a bit more versatile with a mix of throws and strikes, while L-Blaze is all about speed and mobility with flashy grappling game. Jackie is all about striking strings, Sarah has her flamingo stance for mix-up, Brad uses evasive sways to dodge attacks, and Jean has charge moves that punish blocking opponents. Or maybe if you want to ignore all that and try to practice your Lei Wulong game before he arrives at Tekken 8, you can just pick Shundi and experiment with his stances. Virtua Fighter 5 offers different dynamics for each character, and it's crucial to find which character goes along with your playstyle or which dynamic would suit you the most. Street Fighter 6 is designed to be beginner-friendly with modern controls and a comprehensive tutorial system. Tekken 8 has a high skill ceiling with an immense amount of matchup knowledge, and Guilty Gear Strive strikes a balance between accessibility and depth. Among these titles, Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O has of course its learning curve that leans more towards its unique fundamentals, but its simplicity makes it easier to pick up than Tekken 8. The lack of meters and gimmicks means you can focus on mastering the fundamentals without being overwhelmed by the mechanics. Sadly, Virtua Fighter doesn't offer much practice to these fundamentals, so right after you do the tutorial and command training to learn more about your character, you are left alone with the ranked matches or lobby, and that's where Virtua Fighter's lack of content really shows itself. My guess is Sega will implement tournaments to keep the player base engaged with Virtua Fighter 5, but with other fighting games having the popularity, it might be the best to give Virtua Fighter 5 a chance before its hype dies and only its core player base sticks around. So where does that leave us? Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O is definitely for the people who are interested in learning Virtua Fighter or just wanna experience it. It feels timeless, it has its unique dynamics that revolves patience, precision and strategy. The lack of single player content as well as the cross-platform are easily be felt, but I guess I'm just happy experiencing and learning about this fighting series without having any issues. The learning curve might be steep, but for those willing to put in the time, Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O offers a true martial arts simulator. And of course, with Virtua Fighter 6 on the horizon, there has never been a better time to dive in. Basically, if you're looking for a fighting game experience that's more than just flashy combos and cinematic finishers, give Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O a try, as it can be your newest fighting game addiction. As always, thank you for watching today's video. Which fighting game series would you like me to cover next? Any humble support through Patreon and YouTube join is really appreciated, and I will see you soon in my next video.